Hello, welcome to all of my combo lords joining me in the present or future, or in the unlikely rare case, the past, or another lateral temporal dimension that we're unaware of yet. In any case, I wanted to do a little bonus live stream like I like to do a few days of the week here on this Domotro channel, which, to anybody stumbling by who's not aware, is more so my bonus channel, and there will be a main episode coming on my combo class channel probably tomorrow. I'm going to try and finish editing it tonight, hopefully get it ready to upload sometime midday tomorrow. Or to anybody watching this stream, when it processes and shows up as a notification later, around the time this stream is processed, maybe I'll try and have that episode out. Could take me throughout the day or the following morning, possibly. I'm not going to rush my main combo class episodes on a day-to-day basis. I like having my own schedule so that I can make sure that I don't release them until I'm pretty sure that I double-checked most of the math in it, that I like the way all the visuals look, that I don't want to change any of the audio things, etc. Now, what is going to happen this month, as usual, is somewhat based around my main combo class plans, and I have a few episodes lined up that was possibly going to be one episode, but I split. Now, the split episode is I was doing a lot of thoughts about what's beyond the Pythagorean theorem, and today we're going to fill in some extra things that won't fit into this pair of episodes in today's stream, because there's more than enough to talk about related to even just the word Pythagorean will be a cue for today's stream. What does that mean? But in general, the idea of what's called a Pythagorean triple and the Pythagorean theorem, and particularly Pythagorean triples, integer solutions to an a squared plus b squared equaling a c squared. Well, what's beyond that? Well, in the first of the two episodes that I've now split the content that I've been filming over the past weeks into, the first part of that will be coming out in a day or so, and is going to on the main combo class channel, and is going to be about an intro to how Pythagorean triples are hiding everywhere all over math, how we can find them in squares and rectangles and circles, let alone the classic right triangles they're associated with, and other fun things about Pythagorean triples, as well as Pythagorean quadruples. Yep, the underrated older cousins of the Pythagorean triples are rarely talked about, but there are Pythagorean quadruples. And in a way, Pythagorean triples are to the second dimension what Pythagorean quadruples are to the third dimension. And a lot of math ends up having two variables in certain contexts that make Pythagorean triples more accessible. But I wouldn't be surprised if Pythagorean quadruples show up more so in future math in random places, because they do describe almost 3D versions of what I was talking about. I said that we could find Pythagorean triples in squares, rectangles, and circles and such. Well, maybe we can find Pythagorean quadruples in like rectangular prisms and in spheres and such. So that's going to be the first half. The second half is going to be the episode that I was originally planning on doing first, but I realized that I've never really done a good intro to Pythagorean triples that had to come first. After that, within a week of that episode that'll come tomorrow, will be another semi-follow-up, semi-unique episode that's going to be about the history of Fermat's last theorem, which is proving that you cannot do an a to the n plus b to the n equals c to the n for n being higher than 2 and all of those being whole numbers. And then seeing what questions remain beyond Fermat's last theorem. The first half of the episode about Fermat's last theorem, the one an episode off from now, will be about that original solving, that is impossible. How did we prove that is impossible? The next thing will be what questions remain. And out of all those things, where Pythagorean triples hide in geometry, what are Pythagorean quadruples and quintuples, those I packed into an episode coming tomorrow. And then what is Fermat's last theorem, what questions remain after it, that I packed into an episode coming about a week after that. So stay tuned into the Combo Class channel for, of course, where I put my best work. And on this channel, where some enjoy even more than that, because they like the free-form nature and the chaotic, unpredictable, extra long uncut honesty and such. I'm an overly honest person, so people who watch the streams will get more of my opinions mixed in, as well as more bonus facts. So, in today's stream, to prep for some of that, I wanted to look at some Pythagorean stuff. I wanted to look at, first of all, just to prep for that, make sure everyone knows the Pythagorean theorem and what Pythagorean triples are. And then we're going to look at what is Pythagoreanism? Pythagoreanism was an old religion, almost. An obsession of a certain type of mathematics being applicable to the reality we live in that demonstrates simultaneously certain traits that are beautiful and relatable, things that they found cool that I also find cool, and things that they were overstating the way in which a cool math thing they had found, out of all of the cool math things that could be found, applied to their nature. And so the Pythagorean Society, as some of the followers of Pythagoras were called, and the creator of many of these equations, like the Pythagorean theorem and such like that, are unknown to the degree of which it was fully a single person named Pythagoras, and to what degree they attributed that name to the followers of Pythagoras making discoveries, and then they put the name Pythagoras's so-and-so on that, due to them following this almost religion that existed back in the day. Now, I think it can be a careful warning to some folks out there who see a particular very fun thing about math that I demonstrate and think that one thing applies to their reality very much. Now, remember, when I do a science episode, we're looking at what happens with reality. We're going to look at what happens with the reality of stone fruits in this stream, for example. That is a topic we have planned for this stream. But when we look at math, it's often pure math that I do, meaning that it's a little disconnected from nature. If anything, it is the limits that natural things approach and not actually what nature is always, or nature can be a combination of infinite amount of traits of pure math that we will discover. And so be careful. If I show you a cool fact about math, it may not be the fact that applies to your reality. It may be one of many beautiful facts within pure math that we can investigate. And then, over time, not only know facts about pure math, but ponder the ways to which this applies to the real world. Now, that's almost a separate thing when we look at what is the seventh triangular number, and when we look at how could a triangular number show up in the real world. So, just be careful that if I show you cool facts, do not become your own Pythagoreanist religion, where you assume that one of these traits is so overly definitive of your nature. And maybe if you had known more traits that were true, that future people discovered after the Pythagoreans, you would have had a wider worldview. So remember that more knowledge will be found in the future. Don't believe your worldview is full. The only type of full worldview you could possibly have contains some degree of willingness to grow and willingness to change, willingness to know that the future will know things you don't know. So remember that as we go forward. If I can be a confident, cocky guy who's like, I believe this thing about reality, I hope you believe it as well. But remember that with anything I say about reality, there's also a question attached, or an infinite amount of questions attached, that are telling us these aren't just facts about reality, but these are more so hypotheses and seeds for questions, seeds for ways to have fun, or ways to think, or etc. Now, somebody said, why do they feel unsafe? Perhaps because we have a chaotic realm here, but like somebody, Corrupt Converter, who's one of our main combo lords in the Discord and chats and stuff, said, it is a safe zone in ways. If you're, it's hard to say the word safe space nowadays, because that term can convey that certain topics are off limit or such. I'm okay with revealing, historical things that are now considered offensive, but under a historic lens. I'm okay with saying certain words that may throw off somebody's religious or political beliefs. But if you're worried about unsafe, typically really should mean that you're worried that you're going to be harmed, or your lifestyle is going to be messed up, or somebody's going to make you change your lifestyle in some negative way. And here, that is certainly not the case. I have a very roasty tone at times, and it's what I have with my friends as well, where I like to criticize things as much as I like to compliment things, because I like to put my honest opinion on the plate. But as far as anybody feeling unsafe as far as safety, I make sure everybody who's around me feels very safe. And the people who participate in my chaos are more than happy to have joined, and have gotten asked several times beforehand, do you want to participate in so-and-so chaos? Now, as far as safety and stuff like that, I will note that if people are worried about safety, about an identity you have, we're very open to any identity in combo class. I don't care what race you are. I don't care what gender you are. I don't care what beliefs you have, as long as you're not using them to inflict any negative things on other people, or as long as you're not saying untrue things, then I'm okay. As long as you're honest and you're not hurting anybody, whatever beliefs you have are okay. But sometimes I will state my beliefs as well, and unfortunately, sometimes those conflict a little bit with some people's measures of safety within their own religion or culture or a certain background they have. And I do have to say, if it offends somebody that I say the Earth's a globe, the Earth's more than 7,000 years old, I'm sorry, this is a science channel. The Earth is billions of years old, and the Earth is closer to a globe than flat. So if that offends you, we're not going to be able to dodge that. But if other things offend you, that's okay. You can feel free to point it out in the comments. I'm a very loud-spoken, loudmouth person, and I'm okay to get critiques. If anybody here's something that I say that they think is bad toward a particular group or could have a negative impact on the world, feel free to let me know, and I will definitely consider making a, addendum statement that clarifies it or whatever. Because here, the goal of feeling safe somewhere, I do hope actually exists in combo class, despite it seeming like a chaotic environment. I do think my friends feel safe around me. My family feels safe around me. My cats feel safe around me. And people who actually know me feel safe around me. They know that I don't hurt people around me. And so I suppose there's no way to prove that to you all through the screen, and my combo lords are just going to have to trust me. But, if anybody thinks that anything we're doing is unsafe, you can comment. And if you think it's unsafe because I'm endangering myself or a friend who agreed to it, then we might just laugh at it. But if you think it's unsafe because it's hurting any other groups of people, then feel free to point it out. Because I don't want to hurt anybody. Now, let me take a peek at our chat before I pull open my screen, because we're going to look at, a few Wikipedia things about Pythagoreanism to see what Wikipedia has to say about the old Pythagorean religion and ways in which that might be bad to copy, and other ways in which it might be relatable. It might be cool things they enjoyed that I enjoy. For example, they liked the number 10, but not because it was 10 fingers. They liked that it was triangular. They liked that it was 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 and could be drawn as a triangle of sorts. And so That I like. I'm a huge fan of triangular numbers, which the Pythagorean Society enjoyed. So that's an example of something that I highly love and relate to out of their things, as long as you don't think that triangular numbers are the only important aspect of your existence. Now, somebody, whoever says they think I'm chill and they think I'm based and interesting and whatever, thank you. This is my channel where we have more uncut honesty. Make sure to anyone new stumbling by that you check out my combo class channel, because that is where I put my more full in-depth episodes, of which I make one every about 1 to 2 weeks, and we have a full, video essay of sorts, but within the realm of often mathematics, sometimes other sciences. So my best edited stuff is on the combo class channel, but I love everyone who's on this channel. I do want to note that I tried putting some shorts on my other combo class channel, because this channel has grown so absurdly because of the shorts I put on here compared to the horizontal content that I care more about. We've gotten more real horizontal subscribers on the combo class channel, but the overall subscribers here is 5 times as much because of all the shorts I've put on this channel. So I tried putting a few on the combo class channel, but then I realized they're not hitting that hard on there. The algorithm is so picky about how many shorts you've put and these weird things, and they're the algorithm's practically begging me to put another short on this channel, which I haven't in a month. The last one I put on here was one of the most random shorts that I've ever filmed. Quickly, we'll throw a random short out. 4 million views. The 6 or 7 shorts I've put on the combo class channel so far that are ones that I spent a lot of time on were okay, you got maybe a few thousand views. The shorts algorithm's so picky, and it's not my favorite form of content to make necessarily. I watch horizontal, longer videos. My main goal in life is to have good horizontal, long videos out, not to have really good shorts out. And so I just think it's the wrong dimension for humans. Maybe aliens will be good for. Maybe aliens will have eyes that go this way. If you were an alien and your eyes were this instead, then maybe it would be good to watch a YouTube short. But our eyes are like this, so it's the wrong dimension to put videos like this. So I don't watch shorts, so it's kind of silly that those have gotten me so many of my subscribers. So I kind of decided that since I don't know to what degree I will have weeks where I put out a short every day, and I will have weeks where I don't put out any shorts, I'm just going to put all the shorts on this channel, probably. The algorithm's so picky and weird per channel. The horizontal long videos, I'm very particular with which types of channel I put it on. I put projects that I'm I would be okay showing in a classroom or a museum or something on the combo class channel. And I put way more random stuff on this channel. And this channel has 5 times as many subscribers. I'm just going to put all the shorts on this channel, probably. I might even... The 5 or 6 or 7 shorts that I put on the combo class channel, nobody saw. They didn't send them to all the people who watch these videos. And so I might delete those and put those on this channel instead. So if you've really been tuning in on both channels, sorry if you see up to 6 shorts twice. Sorry if you watch the shorts tab and you're really tuned into both channels. Sorry if you see up to 6 of them twice. But I might just move those to this channel and start putting them on this channel, because I swear the 6 shorts that I put on the combo class channel have a few thousand views. And I almost guarantee you that when I delete those and I put them on this channel instead, they will be, at least one of them will be in the millions of views. It's just ridiculous. Hundreds of thousands at the least. The most random shorts I've put on this channel recently, and they're we're going to send these to 100,000 people. You put a lot of effort onto a short and put it on the wrong channel, it doesn't do anything. And I realized that I'm okay having that game of the horizontal videos on 2 channels and knowing which ones I want to put as my combo class and which ones I want to put as my bonus Domotro. But with the shorts, I don't know like how often I'm going to have a week where I make one every day or a week where I don't make any. And so I'm just going to put the shorts on this channel, and what that's going to mean is going to be this channel is going to probably maintain a lead over the combo class channel. This channel will probably always have more subscribers than the combo class channel, but it's probably going to have the realer subscribers there, because if I just put the shorts on here, they're going to hit so much harder from the algorithm through this channel. It's weird, and normally I don't want to base my channel on an algorithmic thing like that. And I don't base how I make a horizontal episode on a trait like that. I base a horizontal episode based on what is a project that I am proud of, that I'm actually wanting to release. On the combo class channel, this channel, I put a little more random stuff once in a while, almost stream-like videos. But I'm just going to put the shorts on this channel. This channel is going to have the lead, but a lot of the people subscribed to this channel in the numbers are going to be there for the shorts. So if you are an ultra combo lord, remember that you're probably going to hit this channel first, and then you're going to subscribe to the combo class channel. And then if you want to take it any further, apart from watching all of what I've called grade -1 and what we've done so far in grade -2 on the main combo class channel, you can also, if you want to go further, we have a Discord and subreddit and cool combo lord things like that. Now, somebody said, why not just one channel? Part of why I did it at first is because this was my shorts channel, and then I liked having like a bonus channel, where my combo class channel is the videos. It's pretty much just videos. There's a few shorts I put on there, but I might even move those to here instead. Is like projects that I really like, episodes that every week or two I want to put out like a project I like to the world, either a math lesson or a really fun comedic snack break or a video essay about something that I really like as a 5 to 30 minute little project. And this channel is because I was putting all my shorts, they didn't amalgamate them as well when I made these channels. Just 1 year ago, even less when I made this channel, they didn't have shorts as a tab on YouTube pages. If you clicked videos was the only option on a channel, you'd see all the videos mixed with all the shorts. I didn't want all the shorts I made mixed in, but oh, by the way, do you hear those blasting off? I think that might be fireworks. So around here in America, which I'm saying in a kind of joking way because I'm not very patriotic, there's this holiday called July 4th or Independence Day, 4th of July, which is pretty silly and relates to fireworks, and they go off up to a day before to up to a day after that. So we might see some fireworks. We might even try some of our own fireworky things. I might have some fireworky things in a little container over there. Now, it's a silly holiday, just a note for that one. Okay, no, let me finish my last thought, was that I started 2 channels partially because they didn't amalgamate the shorts well. And I made this as a short channel so that they wouldn't be clogging up my videos tab on my main channel. And then they amalgamated them a little better, where they separated them, and they started giving me the option on uploads of whether I notify people or not when I put out a short. I didn't have, it's like a box that is sometimes not clickable for me, and sometimes is clickable for me. I don't know. Ask YouTube. It's a box that is sometimes clickable, sometimes not clickable. Nowadays, it seems to pretty much always be clickable, that tells me whether I want to give a notification and subscription thing automatically to my viewers for an upload, or if I want an upload to go out without that. Now I have that option, and now it's like, okay, I can put out shorts that don't bug a subscriber who wants to get a notification for my main episodes. So now they amalgamated it better. I ended up with 2 channels, but I like it because even though this one's more subscribers, I don't care. I got big goals, folks. Everyone's going to know Domotro. It's okay if we got 2 channels. Someday, combo class will be a big thing. Domotro will be a big thing. I have big goals. These channels will just be tiny building blocks in the magnificent castle we'll build. So, I don't really care if this one has a larger number of subscribers. Like, technically, I have a TikTok page that has more subscribers than the main Combo Class channel, too. I have 50,000 on TikTok for Combo Class. I don't even think I've posted there in more than a month. And so, I don't care about the number always. I have big goals related to things I want to share with the world that a lot of people will enjoy, and those will mostly come out on the Combo Class channel, and my truest Combo Lords will know that. And it's okay if this channel has more subscribers too for another reason, which is that I want to release other things. And this channel, being my playground, is going to get my music, such as there will be music videos that are not educational, that are just a music video, that is just supposed to be a catchy song that I make. There is going to be things that are links and maybe audiobooks to fiction things I write. There is going to be things that are random vlogs out in nature where I explore somewhere. And so this channel is fun to have more subscribers in a way because more people will see my random music videos and stuff. But remember that I do what I want to do on my YouTube channels. To anyone who's like, you're a pure math channel, I want more pure math. You'll probably get that on the Combo Class channel. You'll probably get a pure math episode more than once a month on the Combo Class channel. But here, I'm going to do what I want to do. So I'm sorry, you will not always enjoy the content. I'm an overly honest person with a lot to share with the world, and I'm not going to make a 3rd channel. So this is sort of my playground. Now, hopefully everybody enjoys that. Remember, if you ever see a video where you don't like what I'm doing in that video, you can just leave a comment that says, hey, let's see some more math, or hey, let's see some more music, or whatever you want to see next. Speaking of which, on some of our live streams, I'm going to have some of my friends as guests on. We're going to start doing live streams here where I was hanging out with a bunch of my friends last night for this dumb July 4th Independence Day holiday. I feel like guilty saying that I went to that because it's sort of okay, I know that there's like some people are going to be like really patriotic and be like, it's important that America established independence on this day. Yeah, there's some cool things about America, but America's done so much bad stuff in the world that I'm just like not patriotic enough to be like, oh, let's raise some flags while we blow up the fireworks. However, I'm willing to have a holiday where all my friends happen to have the day off and we want to grill some hot dogs and chicken and we want to light off some fireworks and such. So, hung out with some friends yesterday and I was chatting with some about which of my friends I want to feature on the live streams. You guys don't know my friend group and I want to show you like some old channels I have that I've run with my friends, but it's the time has not come yet. Some of my Patreon supporters might know that to a degree. And in fact, if anybody is on the Patreon, make sure you see the new post I put on there, where the newest thing on the Patreon is a very rare video I filmed 6 years ago that is about me shaving my beard and hair in the most chaotic ways. Not to be copied, not educational. So that's something on there. I'm also going to, like I said, merge those onto this thing called YouTube memberships. So when I launch that thing called YouTube memberships that I showed in the last stream, YouTube will give me this bonus for. I'm going to try and make it so it's like the same stuff I give my Patreon people, which will include links to some of these rare old channels I talk about once in a while. Now, even if people only are able to give $0 a month, I don't care. I love you still. But if more than 30 of you are able to give at least $1 per month when I launch this, I get twice the bonus from YouTube. I will show you the proof. I'll show you the emails and stuff when it comes up. But All I'm saying is that if at least 30 of you sign on to be a YouTube member for any amount of money, a minuscule amount works, in the first month, I'm going to get twice the bonus. And do you know what bonuses mean around here? They mean more days. I get to hire people to help me film and edit. They mean more cool props. They mean things like that. So, somebody said I'd be good for audiobooks, and I would consider doing somebody else's audiobook if they ever wanted, but I'm most interested in doing my own audiobooks because I have a lot of written works I am working on. Many of this is going to sound like an exaggeration, but to those who have heard more details in previous streams or who know me, they know it's not an exaggeration. I have more than 10 half-finished books I've written that I hope to finish someday. And those ones, I would like to make an audiobook for them, because if somebody would like to hear them in that form, then, I feel like I would be able to get the cadence best. As for, how you put italics in a phrase, or you put quotes or things to maybe all caps. These are all techniques one might use, more punctuation, techniques to sort of give a cadence to the line. Well, maybe I'll be able to extra give the correct cadence to each line if I speak the audiobook. However, I also believe that written forms stand alone as a little ambiguous, and that I want you to see any written form I write as a document from a possible reality, and that this document from some reality shouldn't have a single cadence given to it unless you're seeing that as another layer. You almost have to see my audiobook as me, as a human, reading the text. You can't really see it as the description of the text, because text can sometimes convey many cadences at once. And the text is almost bigger than any visual or auditory interpretation of it. So if I write a text, I'll probably, when I publish stuff, make audiobooks for it. Those will probably be on this channel. And when I do stuff like that, also know that the written form is its own work. There is a version of that that's deeper and bigger than whatever cadence I speak it in. Now, I'll probably publish some of those online as well, because some of them will be in an almost choose-your-own-adventure-like form, not in terms of you picking the plot, but in terms of you seeing which document you see next. Maybe you see a document from a fictional world, and next you want to either pick whether you see the next time the character you are viewing from saw what they did with the document next. Perhaps you want to see the next document that the author of it in the fictional world wrote. Perhaps you want to see when that document was first created in this fictional world and the story of that. So there will be maybe multiple paths of what you see next from a given miniature chapter or portion of a chapter. And that's why it might even work better in a Wikipedia-like hyperlink-like online structure. So there will be an online version of this as well. There will be click-throughable text that will be, in my opinion, the best way to read. No, the best way to read whatever works I put out will be having paper books of it. I'll try and make those. If that's not possible, the second best will be the online click-throughable text. Third best will be the audiobook I'll make of it. Fourth best will be whatever you can do with it. Now, those are some things that will be coming. Now, as far as what I wanted to mention, I have some friends that I want to bring on some streams. And so people leave a comment if there's any of these you want to see most, and I will bother the particular applicable friend to try and do it in the nearer future. These are a few friends who will come on as a guest before too long. One of my very good friends makes a lot of music, so I will do a music making tutorial with one of my really good friends at one point soon, and maybe show some of the many albums we've created together and separately over the years. Another one is a friend of mine who studies a lot of animals and plants, who will come and investigate what sorts of birds live in these trees. We hear bird noises in the background, and I have one friend who might be able to figure out which birds they are. Now, third one is there's a sort of pair of friends. I have a friend who makes motorcycles and fixes cars and stuff like that. And he's willing to do a sick motorcycle jump. So if anyone has a cool formula that we can demonstrate with a sick ass motorcycle jump, he's willing to do it. But also, and I'll lead into another cool thing that we'll get there in a minute. But this friend of mine is, and I'm not endorsing this, so it's going to be an educational interview. You can pick whether you want to endorse it or not. This friend of mine, and I'm not anti-endorsing it either. I am neither endorsing nor anti-endorsing this, but this friend of mine participates in local fight clubs. Now, that might seem like a joke, like, oh, that's like some cheesy interpretation of the movie Fight Club or something, but it's an actual thing. People will meet up and have underground boxing matches and other sorts of MMA and boxing and things like that in an underground, very insane nature. And he trained another one of my friends who's never done this before to go into a fight club, essentially. And he trained one of my friends who won a fight in one of these fight club things for his one and only fight in there. And so I think that might be interesting to discuss. I have a lot of crazy stuff I do and my friends do that it's hard to put on a channel while wanting to endorse all of my behavior. So this one, like I said, we're neither endorsing nor anti-endorsing. You can make your own opinion on. But, you know, there is friends of mine who participate in these underground MMA, boxing, various sorts of fight clubs almost. And the training process for that is quite interesting. And a lot of YouTubers do boxing things too. And I really wish I didn't have 2 surgeries in my legs that I got last year and have osteopenia to mild osteoporosis, which are a degree of a bone condition of weakening. Osteopenia is the milder version of osteoporosis, and I'm somewhere on the line there. So if I didn't have weak bones like that, I would love to spend a year training and box someone, and I would probably lose. I'm kind of short, and I'm kind of overly cocky. I'd probably lose the fight, but I feel like that would be like kind of cool for a human. So I actually really like, weirdly, when YouTubers do like weird boxing matches and stuff like that. But I'm not going to be able to participate in those because I have weak bones. However, I have friends who have participated in much more intense real-world versions of those with no cameras, real, actual fight club. We're not endorsing it necessarily. And I think that would be an interesting interview to bring on the stream one time. So, as well, I talked to both the friends, the guy who trained my friend and the friend who got trained to fight. So maybe we'll bring those on. And there's a variety of other friends. I'll also at some point before too long bring on my younger brother and bring on my parents. And if you have any particular questions you'd be curious in asking my parents, my brother, or my closest childhood friends, leave a question in a comment, because maybe I will seed that into some sort of interview feature in a live stream or something like that. Somebody asked, is one of them a skunk? And no, I have many friends, and I don't think I consider the skunks a friend yet. You know how that term acquaintance, that means when you're on the fence of how well you know somebody. Well, I would call skunks my acquaintances. I don't think I can call them a friend quite yet. They spook me out of my own porch once in a while when a skunk visits here. I don't want them to spray me, so I don't want to clap and stomp my feet at them. So how do I get around them? So the skunks are not necessarily on the friends list. All the friends I was mentioning are human, but I will also say that if you want more cameos from non-human friends, I do include the squirrels and the cats and the birds as friends. Somebody said they didn't know I have those conditions. What's it like? Now, my body has a lot of certain problems because I've had a crazy past. And if you want to know a little bit of that story, which will have to come out to tell the full story of my past, will take many documentary-like written things and or episodes, and I've made one episode like that covered a little of it so far, which is on the main Combo Class channel. There's an episode that's the grade -1 finale. That's sort of a documentary that touches the surface layer of the iceberg of a lot of problems in the past. And to whoever said, so I haven't fully gone into that yet. I'm going to have to go into the medical things at some point in the future. All I'll say for now, because I'm not going to go into the full story right now, is that my life is harder than people realize, but I still do all this stuff because you can do more than you realize. I'm sorry if your life's even harder than mine. There are people whose lives are even harder than mine, but my life is way harder than average for my age. My life, I mean, maybe there are people with certain conditions or certain ages that their life is on average as hard as mine, but my life is a lot harder than the average 30-year-old man in America. And so you can still do a lot. I'll tell you the more details later, but I've grown so much over the past year and survived more than I thought would be possible for a human. So I think I can grow and survive a lot more, and we're going to witness that over the grades. Remember, we're just in grade -2. Grade -1 is almost a whole story of its own, of starting about barely over a year ago as I crafted this out of the dirt here. Now, grade -2 is as we have gotten our foothold a little bit more. We have people actually watching from the beginning of the grade. When I started grade -1, nobody was watching at the beginning. So now we have people watching from the beginning of the grade, and we have a little more budget. We have some Patreon supporters. I got a tiny bit of money from YouTube ads. So we have a little bit of budget and stuff. So it's once in a while people donate through the stream and stuff, which is pretty awesome. And with all those things, it's grade -2 is growing and changing, and I wouldn't be surprised if either later in grade -2 or at the beginning of grade -3 we have location shifts. I might go to the woods for a while by a river. I'll bring the clocks and we'll visit here too, but you got to evolve over the grades and such. So you're going to evolve and grow with me, and part of the evolving and growing process, as I'll reveal over the time, is that I almost died. Literally. This is, I know it probably sounds like an exaggeration since I haven't said all the details, but this, people can these streams are all public later. Everything I say in these streams stays as a video later that will line up with my future stories details. And I almost died in January, on the night of the 16th to 17th of January 2021. And I have grown and come back from the dead from there. And that is part of these grades as well that we will talk about over time. So if anybody has their own conditions, you can do more than you realize. And also at the same time, I relate. It really sucks when your life is harder physically than other people. I can relate to a degree of that. Really sucks and is hard. So we still try really hard, and I still have such big dreams and ideas. And somehow when I almost died, they even had to check my brain based on the incident that occurred to me, but my brain did not have any damage. I still have all of my rare thoughts and notebooks and ideas, and my brain did not somehow get any impacting long-term damage from the crazy stuff that happened to my body. But, oh boy, watch that grade -1 finale if you want to see the tip of the iceberg that I've explained so far. Now, somebody mentioned someone with many conditions that they said that's probably the person whose life is the hardest they know. And that does sound very hard. There's a lot of conditions that I will try and normalize someday, because I think that, and I know, so it's sort of weird because at the same time nowadays, to say one has a certain mental condition it can be mocked and scorned by certain groups of people and can be not normalized enough to be able to be truthful about. And at a different time is being glorified by like weird kids on TikTok who are like, I have 50 disorders, this is my personality. There's this weird glorification of certain disorders these days too, that I'm sure most of the people who have the specific disorder that's being glorified think it's cheesy and weird and annoying. Because sometimes it's described in an overly simplistic way. A lot of kids nowadays almost try and make it their personality that they have their oversimplified version of something like ADHD or something. Or maybe it's called ADD now. I'm not sure the difference exactly. Now, I think that I have like a mild amount of many conditions. I was diagnosed as bipolar before. I have been diagnosed as possibly having some sort of ADD or ADHD. And the bipolar was pretty mild. That might be a slightly inaccurate diagnosis, but it runs in my family a little, so I probably am a little bit on whatever spectrum that's on. And I haven't been diagnosed with anything on an autism spectrum, but because I've never really had, often that comes from people having difficulty communicating or fitting in a realm is what causes them to seek the diagnosis or stuff. I don't really have difficulty socially or stuff like that as much, and I'm pretty good at like the fake it till you make it, fit in when you need to. But I would probably also be a mild amount on certain types of autism spectrum if there was a way to like zap your brain and fully analyze it. So given being somebody who has a small amount of many disorders possibly cooking in my brain, maybe I can normalize those a bit, not trying to say that like, oh, that's my personality and it's so big and bad and hard that I have X type of disorder that is this particular name and equation or whatever. It's very hard to figure out what's going in your brain, and I almost quit trying to get diagnoses from doctors because they were different every time for me. The first doctor is like, you're bipolar. Next doctor is like, that was wrong, you're ADD. The next doctor is like, that was wrong, you just have generalized anxiety. Next doctor is like, that was wrong, you have it's like, so maybe we can normalize some of those. Don't try and use a single name for a particular condition to fully define you, because that will limit you. But it is good to know the names of things that you are somewhere on the spectrum of, because you can read resources from other people who are somewhere on that spectrum, and they can help you out there. Now, I don't know about every condition, but I definitely know about anxiety and depression and maybe being mildly bipolar and maybe being a tiny bit autistic. Who knows? So we can, maybe normalize those over time. I have them a small enough amount cooking in the potion of my brain that those things haven't impacted my life. I've had a hard life for a variety of reasons, but it's not really because of whatever of those condition names that I said. So luckily, I am pretty mild on any of those spectrums as far as the ones that inhibit life or make it hard to live. But maybe we can still normalize them by me having a little taste of them and me kind of knowing and being able to some degree, relate to people who struggle with these a lot more. Now, and somebody said they are not disorders. I'm not sure if that's the wrong term. The terminology keeps changing. So with things like that, if you talk about something like, let's say, having ADD, and that terminology is going to change. That's going to be the wrong thing in a minute. I don't even know if when I said they diagnosed me as bipolar, I think since then, I think they have changed what they call it. I think they would now call me like cyclo something, for what they used to call bipolar type 1 is now some of those people they now call cyclo something. I don't know. They change it like every year. So if disorder is offensive, I don't mean it in that way. Most people would agree that most of these conditions, if you have them too strong, are bad and make your life really hard. Not bad as in you should be looked down upon in any way, but bad as in it makes your life hard. And so having these things to a small degree can sometimes be like a superpower, and having them too much can be a little weird. And a term I sort of related to throughout life was the term of an idiot savant, somebody who is really good at particular things to a astonishing weird degree, and other things seem to just be a moron about and totally incapable. And there are certain things that I have been behind on throughout life in terms of maturity or ability or whatever, and there are other things that I was just like astonishingly weirdly good at. And so, you know, it can be a superpower. I think it is probably, you know, my channel would be less interesting if I didn't have that weird potion in my brain. So certainly helps with the channel here that I got something weird going on there. But when some of them bubble up a little too much, you gotta be careful. I take medication. That's a whole nother story. We'll go into that. I'm not like on one fixed medication throughout my life. I've not found necessarily the right one that would help me or whatever. But I've taken medications of many sorts over the years. That is a story for another day. So, to anybody who has a condition or something like that, hopefully you're at the point where it feels more like a superpower and not an inhibition. Now, and I love everybody who has something weird or normal with your brain. There are also people who are on the other side of this. Remember that it almost sounds like glorifying all of this to give it so much time in the spotlight. So let me note that to anybody who has like a more boring or normal brain, or thinks they're more of a follower, or don't have as many unique hobbies or as many strange quirks in their brain or whatever, I really appreciate those of you, because if there weren't people who liked following and watching stuff, I would have no audience. Every time I tried to rant, somebody else would be ranting back at me. And you almost need like 10 people who are more normal for every one person who's going to be ranting and trying to lead the group on some adventure or whatever. So I really also appreciate the people who think they have a boringly normal brain, because we need those in the team as well. Now, of course, it's not an on or off switch, so, you know, you never knew. No, that's just a little side rant or whatever. If anybody has some reason where they're against a type of mental condition, then, you know, whatever, we're going to normalize those things. Hopefully you'll learn and see that people with any condition are normal humans, similar to how I said earlier how, like, I am not going to try and insult anybody's religious opinion, but I'm going to say that the Earth is more than 7,000 years old. Like, otherwise it just isn't a science channel. So if that insults a religious opinion, I just can't help it. You just shouldn't be on a science channel. Then, well, you should be, but you should try and be more open-minded about it. But similarly, if anybody like hates on a certain like mental condition, or hates on a certain, yes, any gender is okay and normal, yes, any race is okay and normal, you hate on any of those things, those I don't consider a political or religious opinion. I consider those being a nice or not nice human. So although I will avoid politics and religion a lot of the time, it is true that we will make it overly abundantly clear that here in Combo Class, anybody with some sort of mental condition, similar to regardless of what race or gender you are, is not the defining trait about you. It is just something that's okay. That's just an adjective about you that does not necessarily need to be what you choose to describe your main synopsis as a human or whatever. Like, a similar one about what describes a person is that I'm Jewish, in that I am 3/4 by blood Jewish. And some people say it's based on the mother's lineage, historically Jewish. And on that scale, I'm 100% Jewish. And some people say it's based on if you had a bar mitzvah. And on that scale, I'm 100% Jewish. Some would say blood, and then I'm somewhere around 3/4. But then when you look at the further tree, who knows? Some would say it's about how much you participate in all of the Jewish rituals, in which case they would say I'm like 10% Jewish. because I occasionally do a Jewish tradition with my family, but it's not a big thing that I dedicate any time or, care to, really. And so a lot of people, like, think that me being Jewish is a definitive aspect of my character. And it's not really. It's, if people didn't know, apart from maybe I look like some of the Jewish stereotypes, I don't really follow many of those traditions in my lifestyle. And I don't even although I've had a bar mitzvah, I don't have a stronger affinity toward Judaism than toward something like Christianity or Buddhism or Islam or whatever. If anything, maybe I would have more of an affinity to certain Eastern religions like Taoism or something. But a lot of people think a random word describes you. So around combo class, you get to pick what synopsis you want to present the world. Obviously, if you've done a bad thing in the past, that can be assigned to other people. Other people can note in your synopsis if you've done anything bad. But you get to pick the start of your synopsis, and it doesn't have to start with like a weird cultural identity or a mental condition identity or something like that necessarily. Those are not the first things I would describe myself to somebody. If somebody asked, what type of person are you? The facts, all the diagnoses I mentioned, and the fact that I am Jewish, or the fact that this or that, would be some of the last things I would mention. First, I would mention that, I like math and nature and learning facts, and I like writing, and I like comedy with friends, and there's so much more to mention. So, in any case, I love all of you. Let's try and be, while I'm a loudmouth, and you can always let me know if I accidentally offend any of you, and I'm not going to bite my tongue, so sorry if that happens, but everyone is welcome. Now, it does depend on, like people are noting, that Hebrew versus Jewish could be a distinction in somebody's bloodline, or of how you describe somebody. And I do think, I wish that there was a more clear term for whether or not I call myself a Jew or not. Am I a Jew? Well, in terms of blood, yeah, more than half. In terms of beliefs, no, less than half. So, yeah, it can be difficult with things like that. Here around Combo Class, we like hypotheses, and I'm sorry, some of the religions will get criticized. Major religions like Christianity and Judaism will occasionally get criticized by me because some of the things within them, that not the core of it, not necessarily the religion itself, but ways a believer could apply one of the beliefs, some of them, I believe, lead to things like racism or sexism or strange things like that. And those we will have to call out. But overall, there are good ways to interpret any of those religions. And just so everybody knows, I do think there are cool things about the Jewish religion. And I also think that the historical or spiritual or fable creature of Jesus is really cool too. And I think that all those beliefs about loving your neighbors and enemies are great. So there are things I disagree with in some of those religions that don't make me feel close enough to want to put that as one of my main identities. And somebody said all institutions deserve criticism, and I think that is a good way to somewhat distinguish what we're talking about. I don't think that the idea of whatever any of these religions means could almost even be praised or criticized. These words are too vague. So maybe you can criticize a particular aspect of them, like an institution. Like, I will say, some would consider, this is something I've said before that maybe insulted some people's religion, but I think churches should pay taxes. That, to me, is not even practically a religious or almost even political thing. I just mean, if people are paying taxes, I don't know why churches should get a loophole. And if I say that, some people think that's politically offensive. Some people think that's religiously offensive. But certain things like that are just being a human. And I'm sorry, but if me being a human ever really gets under your skin, then I want you to just go to the Combo Class channel for a few months, only watch my episodes there for a while, forget about this channel for a few months, then check back in and see how you feel about my thoughts at that point. Maybe you've grown a little bit by that point. And as someone who said, imagine being the person to write the Bible, I would say that I believe many sources combined to it. So I believe there were more than one writer. But there was definitely astronomical power and influence that was generated by those writers' choices of words. Now, there are a few mathematical-ish topics that I did want to talk about, as well as, like I said, well, let me run through the things I put in the title. Dice was because when it was still lighter, I wanted to try and collect some dice from the classroom. I have a bunch of dice here that I've been filming with, and they're going to show up in the next Combo Class episode, hopefully coming tomorrow, related to how we can use squares and cubes to visualize certain cool algebraic stuff. But I was looking for more, because in the next episode, the one coming next week, it would be pretty cool if I could do this one particular thing, which is that a 3 cubed plus a 4 cubed plus a 5 cubed is exactly equal to a 6 cubed. So I want to show that with dice by having a 3 cube of dice, a 4 cube of dice, and a 5 cube of dice that you then see in fast motion me rearranging into a 5 by 5 by 5. But that requires 216 dice. So I don't have 216 dice right here. I was thinking, it doesn't look like there's 216 dice on the ground. Should I buy some? I was looking at the budget and I'm like, can't really spend any more budget on dice. Like my Combo Class budget and personal budget are pretty tight. I need to spend it on hiring people and certain important things for the class. And so then I realized I've bought more than 1,000 dice. There's a bunch embedded in the ground. And there's also got to be ones just scattered. There's got to be corners of the classroom that have like hundreds of dice. Or did they like fall through a crack into the neighbor's yard or what? Because I even have video footage of me unboxing hundreds upon hundreds of dice in this classroom. And here are some embedded in the ground we won't re-get. But where are the rest of the dice? Here's a few. But I've literally gotten, if you just this size, I must have gotten at least 700 or 800 of this size. And I've gotten maybe 1,500 dice in total, or 2,000 maybe dice in total, if you count these miniature ones I got once. So where'd they all go in the classroom? Is it that it rained and they got embedded in the ground? Because someday, when the alien archaeologists investigate here, they are going to be a little perplexed as to, normally you look at your geological layers of rocks, you got your igneous and your sedimentary or whatever type of rocks. In this case, they're going to be a little perplexed to find, there's a clock layer, there's a dice layer. Okay. Just in this one corner. So there are some dice we'll get into in another episode, but that might be hard to do, to try and gather all the dice in a nighttime stream. Now, the next thing was Pythagoreanism, which we'll get to in a moment. And then I mentioned fireworks and stone fruits. So fireworks relates to that yesterday's weird holiday, this American kind of weird thing. I will say again, once again, this will get under some people's skin as a political thing, but I don't see American as one of my main identities. It is not one of the definitive traits about me, apart from the fact that it's like where I grew up and what power I was naturally given and stuff. But I mean, as far as a chosen identity, I'm not like very proud or patriotic to be an American when America's caused a lot of damage over the last couple centuries. So it's a weird holiday, July 4th, celebrating American being freed. However, in some ways it's kind of cool because maybe it would have been even worse if America hadn't been freed from a monarchy. I don't know. I'm not British. Maybe the British monarchy is just as bad or worse in its own ways. Maybe they're less imperialistic, but maybe not even. I don't know. So there's some aspects that are nice about celebrating that America escaped a monarchy on a July 4th is the celebration date of it once. And fireworks are a known thing for that. And we were lighting some sparklers, had some poppets. I was showing my friends. Nobody knows this. I wish I had... Do I have poppets in that box? I hope I have the poppet thingies. You know those little ones that you throw on the ground and they explode with like a little flash? Well, I bet none of you know this, but you can put one in between your fingers and snap, and it lights off in your hands. And it does not really hurt. If anything, I think if you feel any pain, I think it's just touching the rocks too quick that are in it. It has little like rock-like things in it. And not even the fire necessarily. Because if you snap, it's going to range from not hurting at all to feeling like a bee sting, but you make this cool like explosion in your hand. And so not even like a bee sting. It doesn't hurt that bad. So I was showing people at the party how you can just take the poppets, and if you want to enter the scene in a wild way, you walk in, you're like, hey, what's up? Bam! And it explodes. Now, there was also sparklers, and then there was this thing that my friend had called a confetti cannon. And it was the same thing that I had bought once. It was a thing that came from the dollar store. And I love dollar stores. Dollar store is a classic idea here. Now, that's, American as well, because it relates to what does a dollar mean? Like, it's gotten worse over time. Now, dollar stores have more and more $2 or $3 items because inflation. But at the dollar store, one of these items that was not actually a dollar, but was at the dollar store, that was like $4 or something, $3 maybe, was this thing called a confetti cannon. And I bought one once for $3 or $4 at the dollar store because I thought this might come in handy someday. And because I've actually shopped at the dollar store. Like, I don't have that much money. Like, I sometimes buy canned food at places like the dollar store because that is an affordable way to get maybe not your fresh produce at a dollar store, but certain cans. So I got this confetti cannon once, and it got maybe rained on. So I was like, maybe I messed it up. And I left it in a box for a while, but it probably wasn't rained on enough to destroy it. And then one of my friends had some of those at her house where we were last night and was blowing off some confetti cannons. And so it reminded me, hey, I got one of those once too. I got one of those confetti cannons. I think I still have that in the combo classroom. So I thought in a moment, we're going to look through. Maybe we'll do the Pythagorean stuff right at the end. Sorry to any math lovers. We're going to be just doing our fireworky, stone fruity stuff first, and then we're going to go to our Pythagorean theorem prequel right near the end. Really, the main stuff about the Pythagorean theorem is coming in the combo class episode tomorrow, and there's going to be like a prequel to that we'll do in a bit. But first, I want to just note, let's see if we can find the confetti cannon. And then I might have some cool stone fruit stuff to show as well. So, as far as the confetti cannon, I have these... do I have my... Okay, I should have brought my phone out here, because that is a flash... I don't have any flashlight or anything. It got really dark while I was streaming. Okay, I'm going to have to go inside, which is still going to be really dark to do, and grab my phone really quick to have... Or maybe my lantern that's in there too, and then have some sort of light source, because then we're going to look through a box to see... I've bought fireworky-like things from the dollar store before. Some of them may have gotten rained on, so it may be a test as to whether they work or not, but we might have some fireworky stuff for a late 4th of July celebration. And like I said, I did bring some stone fruits to talk about as well. And to anybody who is like, oh man, I just wanted the math part, we are going to talk about the Pythagorean theorem. I'll put that near the end because it's more of a prequel to the episode that I'm finishing editing. And to anyone who just stumbled by new, it's sort of a two-parter episode will be coming shortly. there's going to be a Pythagorean theorem or more like Pythagorean triples and quadruples episode coming hopefully tomorrow. And then a Fermat's last theorem-ish one coming the next week. So let me run inside and grab a flashlight. I love all of you who are here and who hang around. Every time I go inside and I come back, there's just as many almost, or sometimes there's more people than when I left the stream watching when I come back. And even though it's probably a normal human thing that's like anticipation of like, ooh, he's gone. What's going to happen? Is something important going to happen when he comes back? Oh, I'm going to wait with the group to see what happens. Probably a normal human reaction. I do sometimes feel like, what? People preferred watching the thing without me than watching me? But no, hopefully you stick around and have even more people than we're here now still be here when we come back from the break. I'm going to grab some light sources, and then we're going to investigate some fun things. So while I'm gone here, I'm going to turn up the computer light really bright just in case some weird animal comes by back here, and then you'll see something interesting. So although the computer light's really bright, I can't use that as my flashlight. Otherwise, it's going to be like the most chaotic camera angles. So I'll be back in a moment. Love you all. Alright, my combo lords. We have returned. Not only do I have just the normal phone for lighting if we need to look at anything apart from the computer glare, but I brought some candles. Candles can be a nice night light source. These are some very thin candles in a large holder, so we'll see if that works. Maybe we'll try seeing if I can just light a few thin ones in this large holder, and that'll give us something to illuminate some cool combo props we're going to look at. We did this once in the past, where we looked at my weird combo stash of extra equipment from the classroom that I put in this plastic thing to protect from the rain. So I have two of these, and I believe one of them might have the confetti cannon when I was looking for that previously. So here I have a large plastic thing. And where am I going to put this? Okay. Okay. Here we go. Clocks. Okay. Here we have some of my rare combo stash of props that we may investigate for a moment to see what you'd like to see in future episodes and what we have ready that I protected from the last rainfall. Still has secret combo equipment you may not have seen here. For example, a large amount of classroom markers that aren't whiteboard markers. So if we ever need to do a cool art project, that I got these for free, don't ask me where I got them, of all these markers and crayons and paints. We have paints as well. So if we need to do some non-white, and colored pencils. All of these art projects, for example, or art materials, if we ever need to do some project along those lines. I also have what may look like old rotten fruits, but they are actually plastic. So sometimes, I like to have a real fruit in the classroom, take a bite out of it, and then offer somebody a version of it, but it's plastic. Classic prank. And then, oh no, I almost put the real one back into the bin. Don't want to swap those. And we have a variety of other strange things in here. Some of which are old fireworks. Oh man, I have this one called the Snake in here. See, this is what I was looking for, is these old fireworks that I knew I bought from the dollar store back in the day. And although July 4th is the silliest celebration, I was lighting off fireworks last night, and I felt guilty not sharing any of that viewing experience with my combo lords. And this one called the Snake, though, that I have here, is so bad. These ones called the Snake Rattlers suck. These ones, I burnt a hole in, my friend's deck by accident, outside of their house. So I was lighting fireworks on last New Year's at my friend's house of these, and they gave me permission. They're like, yeah, you can get the crew hyped about fireworks. I came with all sorts in my pocket. So when I came last New Year's, I might have mentioned this on the stream after that I was like, okay, I got 4 levels. You ready for going levels 1, 2, 3, 4? Can I go all the levels of fireworks? And I got full permission from the host. But level 2 or 3 was, maybe even level 1, I think this might have been level 2 is my guess, is the Snake Rattler that was not the coolest looking, but burnt this permanent hole in their outdoor part of their house, the outdoor deck of where you have a stone exterior porch outside your house. There's stone floor and stuff. It burnt a hole in it. So chaos. I got permission, I promise. But this is the only one I could find here. So I did find the confetti cannon too. We're gonna have to maybe try the confetti cannon. First, let's see what this Snake Rattler does, but here's how we're gonna do it. I'm gonna make a little table for it to go on pure wood, and then I'm going to And some little slats of old wood that we have ready. And then we're going to light the snake rattler on top. But it is the snake, it just like burns this permanent hole, and it's going to make this weird fire. I'm going to need to get the hose ready for this. The snake is, it's like the worst firework ever. But, okay, the confetti cannon's going to work in a minute. Trust me, it'll still be worth it. It looks cool, kind of. But the snake rattler is just like one of the worst fireworks ever. Now, you can't get that many legal sorts of these in America. You can't even get the cool ones. So, if anybody has any really cool fireworks that I'm not able to access here, that you have access to, I'm not allowed to tell you to send them to my private mailbox that's linked in the description, but if you were to, I probably would use them in a stream. However, do not mail any fireworks that have any chance of going off in the mail. Okay? Now, this is our celebratory for the cheesiest holiday of all time, America's freedom. God, I feel guilty lighting a firework in honor of July 4th. It's kind of dumb. So, whatever. We're going to just celebrate a firework in honor of whatever aliens are appreciating the Combo Class sitcom at the moment and are watching us and liking our Combo Class strange world. This is like the worst firework of all time, I told you. It's going to do this like weird sizzling thing in a minute. It's called the Snake Rattler. Maybe it got wet. I was worried that some of these got wet. Okay, no, there it goes. That's the snake. No, did it? Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's the snake rattler. It does look like it got kind of wet or something. It was acting weird at first. So, you see what I mean? This is like the worst firework of all time. It just makes this like shit-looking snake pop out. Do not copy. This is... Remember, when you... Oh, okay, it didn't even go fully. I don't even need to bring the hose into the picture. See, yeah, maybe it did get wet in the operation at some point. Even if it fully went, it was just going to make more of this, like, annoying snake trail. Now, it's such a hot snake trail. Like, this one might still be lit there. It has this weird thing when it wasn't wet. Yeah, this one's still lit, at least. That... It burnt a hole in my friend's patio. I feel bad about that. Okay. The snake rattler. We're going to leave here to make sure it's exterminated, but that's just proof it's one of the worst ones. I did find the bigger thing that I was looking for, which is this dollar store confetti cannon. Now, I don't think I should use this while it's pure dark out here. Maybe we should use this in the next episode or next bonus video or something. Party confetti cannon. If enough people commented that they really want to see the confetti cannon, I would consider doing it today. But there's a chance it's wet anyway. I might try and explode this during the next main daytime thing I film. Now, it looked pretty cool when my friend blew one of those off. These little paper things. It takes a lot of cleanup. You have to clean up a lot of little paper pieces later. but all these little paper pieces fluttered around in a crazy way. It somehow propelled all the little scraps of paper to have this like circular flying motion where they took a long time to settle, where it took like for almost a minute, there were these crazy rippling shards of paper flying through the air. So, we're going to have, if enough people commented that they really want to see it, I would consider this. But I'm probably going to blow this one off if it works in the next main daytime footage, which will be either our next bonus video or as part of one of our upcoming combo class episodes. Probably not the tomorrow combo class episode, because that, if the editing goes well, is fully filmed and I just need to finish editing it. And that's the one that's our intro to Pythagorean triples, as well as quadruples and quintuples and all the ones that are not talked about enough in school. Partially as a lead-in to a even more in-depth episode about which questions remain about adding higher powers, such as Fermat's theorem being proven impossible, and other questions that still remain. That will be in the follow-up episode, that will probably be like a week from now. I'm probably going to put it out not that long after this one. That'll be like a week to a week and a half from now will be Fermat's last theorem. I was going to put that first, but I'm going to do Pythagorean quadruples and triples hiding all over nature in that episode coming tomorrow. So, love you all who joined me for our chaotic live streams, and we can look really briefly at what other fun things we still have hiding in here that could come in handy in future episodes. This dice would have been good if we ever need to talk about fives or ones, like a teaching block of sorts. There's all these teaching blocks I got for this really cheap pack once. And here's silly string. This is another party-like item, but this is years old. I don't know if silly string still works after years. So we might have to test that one out in one of the upcoming episodes as well. And there's a lot of cool stuff in here. This is one of those glow-in-the-dark things, but it might not be charged. Yeah, there's a lot more fun stuff to look at in here, but I did score by originally finding the confetti cannon I was looking for. Now, that is something that, like I said, I'll probably just try. Actually, probably tomorrow, because I'm going to be filming with Carlo tomorrow, my main camera guy. So, tomorrow, whatever we film, although you won't see it tomorrow necessarily, because some of it takes a while to edit, we will try and blow this off. Now, that's some little darkness investigations of some of our strange extra things here. Back here on this planter where I'm putting all of this, I put some potatoes a while ago, and while the potato top green part got kind of crushed and dead, the lower part, when we investigated the other day, has potatoes. That's in the last stream, so I won't show it again, but there's literally potatoes growing back there. Not even from me trying to try that hard on them. Just from me having good compost, putting random potatoes on top of the compost, and them creating clones of themselves under the soil. So that's pretty cool. Now, I haven't looked at our chat in a minute. I love you all for joining me here, taking a peek at that for a moment. And somebody said I should try lighting each magnet thing individually. Not sure which of these items you're talking about. If you mean like this snake thing, I think it got wet. Normally it just makes a longer version of that bad one. Somebody said, trust me as famous last words. However, that's the thing. Someday we will always have a last word, and maybe my last word will be trust me. But up until then, there will be many other trust me's that don't lead to it being my last word. All of the trust me's will be trustworthy. You can believe all the trust me's, and maybe the final trust me will be said before something goes wrong. I've thought that it's quite possible my last words would be something like, Oh no, wait, actually. Can't you imagine that being my last words? Like, I thought an experiment was going to go a certain way, and my last words would be something along the lines of, oh, wait, no, actually. We'll see. I can't even talk about my funeral plans yet. It's going to offend all of you way too much, my plans for my funeral. I'm not joking. I'm going to say that someday. I've talked about it with my friends. I have insane, absurd plans for my funeral someday. And I can't even say it right now. It's going to offend all of you. And I'm going to say that in a future stream. Now, thank you to everybody who is enjoying our random hanging and chatting and other famous... Ow! That glass is hot. I didn't realize that glass would be so hot when you touch just the glass that is surrounding the fire. So, yeah, this isn't even helping us anymore. I'm going to put out those candles because the glass around here is really hot. I touched it, burnt. You see that burn mark right there? Having a little blister or something. But, so, in any case, yeah, that's going to burn at some point. But, thank you all for joining me. What we're going to look at next is a little prequel to our Pythagorean theorem. I am going to tuck this in now, so our final activity will actually be stonefruits. Now I just want to do a little intro to tomorrow's episode. So you all know the Pythagorean theorem, probably. Maybe you don't. If you don't, it says that if you have a right triangle, which is a triangle, three-sided three-sided polygon with a 90-degree angle, the type of angle that's 1/4 of a full circular rotation, as if you're the corner of a square, then the three sides of the triangle, A, B, and C, will always add up to A squared plus B squared equaling C squared. So, for example, if this is a triangle that has a side length of 1 and then 2, and this is a right angle, I know that C is going to be the square root of 5, because that's the C squared is 1 squared plus 2 squared, which is the square. C squared is 5, so C is square root of 5. So the simplest of what we call a Pythagorean triple, when these are whole number solutions, is 3, 4, 5. So 3 squared plus 4 squared is 5 squared, and like I've shown, we can, okay, I'm not going to get the dice. They're all scattered now. But like we'll see again in the episode as a reminder, we can see that with dice. You can make the 3 squared and a 4 squared that you can rearrange into a 5 squared. But there's so many other geometric places this is hiding. Now, the Pythagorean theorem is going to show up in so many episodes because, in a way, it's not only the right triangle's core formula, but it relates to circles, because a circle's formula is x squared plus y squared equals radius squared. And there's a lot of connections there. It also relates to so many other visualizations you could have of both squares and rectangles. So, we're going to look at, in the next main episode, all the ways in which the whole number solutions to this, such as 3, 4, 5, fulfill these weird geometric properties we can observe in squares, rectangles, triangles, circles, and more. And then in the follow-up episode is sort of about if these powers were more than 2. The second half of the first episode is also about what if we had more of these, but they said second power, like a squared plus b squared plus c squared equals d squared. That's a Pythagorean quadruple. And in fact, here we got Pythagorean triples, a whole article about the integer solutions to this, like 3, 4, 5. But Pythagorean quadruples are way underrated, and we're going to look at those too in the episode. part of the next episode has 2 points. One of the points is the Pythagorean triples are hiding in more shapes than you realize. And the second point is that Pythagorean quadruples and onward, like quintuples and stuff, are underrated. Then there's also 2 points in the follow-up episode, which are the story of Fermat's last theorem's really cool, and there are still cool questions remaining beyond it. Now, somebody says it's so slender. Do you mean, okay, I hope if you're referring to slender like the Slender Man, you're referring to like the original lore and stuff when he was actually cool. There was a time when the Slender Man was cool. I promise you. Now it's all cheesy. They made games and stuff out of this character, the Slender Man. But back in the day, it was actually a kind of cool concept. You had witches and wizards and all these mythical concepts of scary things or whatever. I guess a wizard doesn't sound scary always, but certain mythical names of creatures that are scary, like a vampire or, you know, a werewolf. And it's sort of an interesting concept that had to emerge at one point, that there was a creature that manipulated technology, that as they looked at the lens, your computer screen would glitch or something. And there were some really good YouTube series that related to trying to, like a home movie, Blair Witch Project sort of, trying to film the Slender Man as not real footage, as an art horror project, like fantasy. That when you try and observe this strange Slender Man, your camera glitches. And it seems like almost a natural evolution of things like vampires or werewolves when technology is introduced, that you'd have a character that manipulates technology in a way like that. Now, with that said, there were some really good series involving the character called the Slender Man, and the classic one is called Marble Hornets. That is a good series. That is YouTube classic culture to me. So I have a lot of YouTube classic culture in my veins because I love YouTube. And the one that more people will relate to is when I'm like, I like 3 Blue 1 Brown and Mathologer and stuff that Vsauce or stuff that like sounds similar to my channel. But there's a lot of YouTube culture I like, and a weird subgenre I liked was all the series inspired by Marble Hornets. To anybody who actually watched those, you ever watch Everyman Hybrid, Tribe 12, Dark Harvest, Stan Frederick? You ever watch those series? Those are all YouTube channels with this strange lore about this Slender Man character that actually were done really well. And then it got really cheesy when the character was used in all these games and random stuff. Same way that now like a vampire's cheesy. They made the Slender Man cheesy. But I think he actually almost deserves to be a staple of culture because I think I don't mind him being our representative figure of a thing that glitches technology as a scary mythological creature. The same way that, you know, a werewolf glitches the moon cycle, or how a vampire glitches the nighttime and blood flow cycle or whatever. Speaking of vampires, coolest vampires ever. Book series. I'm not talking about anything they might. I don't know if they made any videos or whatever about this, but book series. Cirque du Freak. That series was the best vampires ever. Okay, that was something I read as a child. Now, that's all we're going to talk about that for now. But I actually have a soft spot for stuff like that because I think found footage horror is a pretty cool genre. I think the idea of, like, there's really weird, innovative ones. You ever seen Alan Tutorial? That one is weird. Alan Tutorial is this, like, YouTube channel, like, run by this person with these weird quirks trying to make these tutorials that's, like, secretly a horror series. Now, there's a lot of weird YouTube channels that tap into that, and I may or may not have filmed videos along those lines someday in the past, but I've always thought that was cool. I like that sort of subgenre. Now, somebody says I should do a deep dive. I'm so knowledgeable. There are things I'm going to do a deep dive about. And in fact, I'm a big fan of video essays where you talk about a certain type of culture. And I've held off on those because I'm very worried about copyright claim. And I don't want to like show clips from anything in a video of mine because I'm very worried about copyright. But as I work with more editors who can like help me look at the formula of what's certainly safe to put in under free use, that will maintain a fair use thing over the years and not cause me any problems in the future by having somebody else's clips in my video. I do have more video essay like commentary things I want to do. One of them will probably be about the Marble Hornets and its successors, the YouTube found footage horror genre. And there are a lot of other video essays I'd like to do. Some of those, like I've mentioned once, I might do in a more rant form on some streams on another platform like Twitch or something, just so that I'm not worried about copyright or anything. I wouldn't be worried if they banned my account on one of those accounts. So I might try someday where I announce to you guys, hey, this week we're going to be like streaming on Twitch all day and talking about random culture I like of YouTube like stuff. And that would include things along the lines of like, what are the coolest found footage horror on YouTube or such. There's also like just YouTube culture. I am actually a geek. It's about like YouTube culture and things like that. And I wish I could like talk about random YouTube drama without being embarrassed. Like, I wish I could just, like, be one of those people who just made a video. It's like, oh, you see, like, that YouTuber Miranda Sings was grooming the kids, and she made a really embarrassing video with the ukulele as an apology. It's like, I actually, like, as a guilty pleasure, know too much about weird YouTube culture. But I don't like putting it in my videos because I'm worried about putting copyright of including other people's content. I like my content to be like eternal or like not cause me any issues in the future and just be like a resource for anybody who wants education or humor in the future. And so I'm going to have to be really careful when I make my video essays to be like fair use like, which I believe in. I support people using other people's content. If anybody ever uses my content, I will not sue you. And if I sign up, I can't guarantee. The thing is, if I sign for some company or whatever, maybe they'll get mad on my behalf about some footage of mine. So I hope that never happens. I probably will never sell any of my channels. I like full control. But I personally would never copyright claim somebody for using a bit of my video to respond to it. If they're just re-uploading my video, maybe I would tell them take it down. But if they're using bits of a video of mine to talk about it in between, I personally would never copyright claim that. I think that's completely cool and good. I like that about YouTube, that people discuss things. The better version of a reaction video, a commentary video where you're actually picking hopefully multiple different sources. It's more boring when a commentary video is responding to a single video as opposed to responding to a variety of things that represent something from culture. But I like video essays and certain commentary videos and stuff like that. And if I wasn't as worried about playing around the YouTube copyright system, I would more often make random video essays like that on this channel. Somebody asked how I came up with the... Oh, wait. I'm hearing the hose is on. I need to turn off the hose because I turned on the hose for the snake because I didn't want the firework to go off, but it's leaking. Okay, right here. Somebody asked how I came up with the name Combo Class, and... Sorry, I had to turn off the hose. That's a long story. We'll go into more details. I've given various seeds. Combo is an important word in my life, and there are I may or may not have previous channels on YouTube with combo in the name that still exist and have almost no subscribers because I've tried many YouTube experiments over the years, and maybe I've tried many channels with combo in the name, or maybe not. But combo's an important word to me in many ways. Like, last stream I was looking at magic cards, which I've gotten back into the math of. I'm not going to buy any more magic cards. They're little weird pieces of plastic that I bought a lot of back in middle school. I'm not going to... I hate consumerism. I would feel super guilty and weird buying a little piece of plastic for... Back in the day, it was cheaper. What I would do is called drafts, where you draft them. It's like a whole game that you play for like $10. It's like practically like a funner version of going to a movie. But if you just buy the little pieces of plastic, rip off. But I'm going to make some mathematical videos about the math of Magic the Gathering. And the reason I mention that is because it happened to... have combos. I was like, oh yeah, back in the day, I used to try and make combos in my deck. But there's other things. Then I'm like, oh yeah, another era. Me and my friend would, when we were hanging out, buy a bunch of snacks from the dollar store and just be like, okay, which combo can we make of our snacks? Then there's other eras where it's like, okay, we're going to try and make a musical thing. What way does combo relate to music? Many ways over the years of my life. And combo has related to many things over the years of my life, as well as just relating the fact that over this channel, you can't pin me down. You can't tell me what subject I'm going to do. Maybe I'm just really into math, and maybe if you like my math, then you'll appreciate that I'm really into that. But you can't tell me what subject to do next. Neither can advertisers. I turned down every sponsorship so far. People who want to support me, trust me, and my Patreon supporters, who are all named in the description here, are awesome. But you can't tell me what to do next in my video. You just got to trust me, you know? And there's going to be a combo of many different subjects. My favorite thing to make videos about are when I can combine multiple topics. And a lot of them I've even been just within math. Like, how can I combine modular arithmetic and this type of sequence? But other ones will be in the world. How can I combine this and that and that? And so when I can find a crossover of multiple things, a visual representation, a version that relates to something being on fire, a version that's a pure equation, the more views of something you have, the better. And so maybe the best episodes will create a combo of a few views of a subject. So there are many reasons it's called combo class. We will see even more in the future. There is also something I believe in that I will make an episode and or essay about someday called combo theory that works in conjunction with something I call contrast theory. And so although we're in combo class and I didn't call it contrast class, oh my God, maybe someday, it probably won't, but there's like a tiny chance in the future, like how the other channel's called combo class, this channel would be called something like contrast class. But really it's a clash that exists on both channels. I will tell you about contrast theory someday, as well as combo theory. They combine in a very magnificent way as far as how I create art and how I appreciate the world. Now, of course, if you hear me talking about any stuff like this, don't use it to overbase your life. These are things that you can build appreciation and knowledge from. They're not to replace or be your whole life or whatever. These philosophies I may teach are additions to whatever life you have, not replacements. Now, somebody said, oh no, I'm turning off the stream, but I'm going to go over stonefruits, the next person said. I think they just mean I'm turning off the hose stream, hopefully, because yeah, I was just turning off the hose stream. We are going to go over stonefruits. Now, with our stonefruits, one of the main things I wanted to emphasize is that I have a lot of different stonefruits in this bowl right here. This is a nectarine. We can also imagine if I had a peach is one I wasn't able to grab. That would be sort of like a fuzzy version of this. And then I have an apricot. One of the most underrated fruits of all time. People get bruised apricots, hate on an apricot for life. I stand by the fact that an apricot is a top 10 fruit. And in my opinion, on my current ranking, a highly contentious list, because I'm a big fan of fruits, a highly contentious list, apricot might even be top 3. Apricots are such an underrated fruit. Now here I have a plum. And then you have weird combos of these. You can get pluots and apriums and all these combinations they've made. Because you can breed them together. You can make them combine in strange ways. But what about when they're separate? What about when I got a plum and an apricot and a nectarine? And what about if I had some cherries? Like, these are a yellow type of cherry. They're actually ripe. This is not underripe. Just some cherries come in this yellowish variety. And I even have something very unrelated seeming here. Almonds. Same family. Almonds, believe it or not, are the same family of fruits as these. And do you know what that means? Well, there's a tree in my front yard that has 2 types of apple on it, because you can graft an apple onto another type of apple. That makes sense. They're really similar. You can almost, in a very, and I'm going to say, not only is this layman's terms, but this is almost the limit of my understanding of it, because in terms of apple botany, I am a layman. Which, layman's terms just means, like, in the simpler, more basic, digestible, sometimes losing some depth way. In that way, you can staple an apple branch onto another apple tree and have a tree with 2 branches making different types of apples. But you can also do that with stone fruits. Now, that means that someday, this is one of my goals of life. I have some goals in life. Now, of course, my biggest goal might be to publish all the fiction books that I've been working on for many years. And maybe tied with that, my other goal would be to make really good episodes about all of the subjects that I have already brainstormed and that I know will come to me in the future. And perhaps one of my third biggest goals is to someday have a combo realm where we can have a little, I want to stream by a stream. I want to have an actual river. I want a place with rivers and redwoods. I want to live in the woods someday and just like be in the river and the redwoods. I'm not a city guy. We're going to have a combo castle someday. I'll let you folks visit. And in the dream world, not only would I have a place that has internet, but where I can also have some redwoods and a river and stuff, but I would have some fruit trees. And the fruit tree that is in my dream world as a goal of mine someday is to work with somebody who knows about stone fruit grafting to create a possible tree that could actually exist, that contains this on a branch, apricots, contains nectarines on a branch, and peaches on another branch, contains plums on another branch, contains cherries on another branch. Could even have both types. We could have a branch with the yellow cherries and a branch with the red ones. And contains almonds. All of these can grow as branches on the same tree. And that's a goal of mine someday, to work with some stone fruit grafters to own a property where we can put these all in the same one. Now, I do have to note, a good technique I enjoy with stone fruits is that since many come in different sizes, now what I really wish I had is you need a blueberry at the bottom. I'm just going to show level 1 of this, where really what you'd have to do if I was just going to chomp into it is I would split this in half very carefully. I would separate the pit, and I would replace the pit with something like a blueberry. Then, it's almost like a turducken of fruits. You know, turduckens, where you put the like turkey and the duck and the whatchamacallit. You like put the antelope and the goose or whatever. Then, here, if I split this open, this apricot, just a little bit, steal the seed out of there. Sneak that little seed out. Pretend I already did that with this and put a blueberry in the pit. Now I wrap it around. I got a little turducken of fruits. If I had the blueberry in the core, I could fully bite into it and just chomp right into that triple layer fruit. And that is a technique that I will have to clarify in a snack break of one of my favorite things to do with fruits I figured out one day. And you got to try. Okay, normally I say do not copy my activities. That is one of the few I will say copy. Copy the idea of taking a bunch of fruits of different sizes, replacing their pits with each other. So, that was a little note about stone fruits. We might have a bite with it in a bit. Somebody noted you can do it with many plants, and you can, but they have to be in the same family to a degree to which I don't believe I could have the apple tree with like 10 types of apples be the same tree that had 10 types of stone fruit. I think those would have to be separate, where you would have to have a tree that could have as many apples as you wanted, a tree that could have as many stone fruits as you wanted, and certain things that work in terms of grafting together. I don't know the details. Somebody said they grafted one time 40 fruits on a tree, and it's true. The tree of 40 fruits. Let's look that up right quick because that is an example of what I'm talking about. I read about that once. This is an example that someone has crafted once of the type of thing I would like to have on a property of mine someday. Now, property of mine, we are very far from that. I live in my parents' backyard practically. So someday we'll have a combo castle by the woods that will have something like this. The tree of 40 fruit is a single tree that grows 40 different types of stone fruit, including peaches, plums. Oh, wait, let's see how many we have. Peaches, plums, apricots, nectarines, cherries, and almonds. They did all the ones I was saying we could do. That's actually funny. This is like the list I mentioned. So yeah, the tree of 40 fruits is the best example of what I'm talking about here. So we need to get something like this on one of the combo properties someday. That is so cool. All right. So tree of 40 fruit was a good example. Someone noted in the comments, but you can do that in other ways as well. Now, those are some fun things about fruits and fireworks and Pythagorean triples and all that we've gone over. And I think I'm going to wrap up our stream before too long. Let me know if you have any other thoughts or comments to anybody who happens to be joining us live right now before we wrap up and I eat these stone fruits. And actually, yeah, I'm going to need to try and replace the innerest pit. Okay. You know what I'm going to need to do? Okay. We're going to go on a little mission. I realized in the yard out there, there might be some apricots. Well, no. The apricots, we have some. Okay, let me put this low for a second. I'm not trying to bother you. What we have over here is the fruits are starting to get ripe in this garden. And one type that we could put in the middle of our super fruit combo is raspberries. So look at this. The raspberries are ripe. So we got a raspberry. Now it's a little raspberry we picked from that thing. And now we can fully make our hyper fruit combo. Now, there's different fruit dishes that I will make a snack break clarifying all my fruit recommendations. This one we will call making a multi-fruit. And there is also micro-fruit salads. I'll tell you about the micro-fruit salad as another technique. There's also there are many techniques I have with fruits. I have some really cool ones to show you guys. But this is just the simplest, classicest one that I like to do. That I realized you turducken your fruits. So look. Now, the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to have to bite in a little bit to extract the seed. I bit around that side of the seed, like, now I'm going to bite around this side of the seed. Now, I haven't fully broken the cherry. Now I'm going to be able to extract the seed because I sort of like bit around each one. Okay. So I've extracted the pit and I haven't fully broken the cherry. It is like still slightly connected. Now, here's what we're going to do. We're going to put the raspberry we picked inside there where I normally put a blueberry. And we're going to seal it like a turducken. This would already be a delicious appetizer. This is, okay, if you do fancy catering, all the fancy caterers out there, put this on your menu. Sorry. You know those little bites you do where it's like, you have a little cracker with a little slice of cheese and pastrami and like this perfectly crafted bite? Do more of these. A cherry whose pit is replaced with something cool. But here's where it goes further. Da, 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 da. Now I have the full turducken. I have an apricot that instead of having to bite into and bite around the pit, when I hit the pit of it, the pit's a cherry. And then in that cherry, instead of having to bite around and dodge the pit, when I hit the pit of that, it's in this case a raspberry, although I usually put a blueberry there. And now, if I try and bite this direction, we might be able to see a cross section. Let's see. It's hard to see, but it's like a whole turducken in there. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm. That was good. All right. So, somebody asked where I live, and this is in the Bay Area of California. Somebody asked, are we stealing fruit from the neighbors? And we are not. We share that yard with a few neighbors. So I live with my parents, and me and my parents and brother have one of a few houses that share a yard. So the fruit is available to multiple neighbors, including us, and the other neighbor. We know the neighbors. They're not mad when I take the fruit that is shared from the yard. They get it too. So as long as we don't take, whenever we see a tree out there, for example, we're not going to take maybe more than a third or half of the fruit from the tree ever, because there are other neighbors. So we can take, you know, a good portion of it for ourselves. Now, somebody said, I'm going to go and do a fructose overdose. If I eat all these fruits, this will be a lot of sugar, because even though fruits are the healthier types of sugar, they do contain a lot of it. But it's good if you mix it in your diet. This is like an acceptable amount of fruit for a day if you also eat other balanced stuff, although it's, you know, a decent amount of fruit. So I like fruit. Fruit's cool. But I also like meat. I was a vegetarian for like 5 or 6 years in middle to high school, but I like meat and fruit now. I'm like sort of like a weird, like natural omnivore. You know how I'm old fashioned in some ways and like paper notebooks and stuff like that. I also like just eating like a steak and a fruit salad. Like I like just like the straight up foods once in a while of fruits and meats are good. So is vegetables, so is grains. You got to keep a balanced diet. In fact, this is my bonus channel. I kind of like cooking. There's probably going to be cooking tutorials someday. Probably going to be random cooking videos that may bore some of you. In fact, there's going to be some food-based episodes on the main combo class channel for the ones that I think are more important to present, such as the edible peel conspiracy that will be somewhere in the next 10 episodes on the combo class channel. Is going to be a snack break about the edible peel conspiracy. And later this grade is going to be the 7-hour egg mystery. So, I love you all so much, and I think I'm going to log off our stream in a moment, and what we're going to do soon is I want you all to stay tuned for the upcoming combo class episodes, including one hopefully I'll get out tomorrow on that main combo class channel, as well as I'm going to maybe put the shorts that I was trying to put on the combo class channel. Like I mentioned, the algorithm cares so much about which one channel you put it on, and I'm going to test one where tomorrow maybe or the next day I'm going to put one of the shorts that I put on the combo class channel also on this channel. It's not going to go to notifications or subscriptions, so it's only going to possibly come up twice for people like if they've already seen the other. If you're on the shorts tab and subscribe to both channels, which thank you for being subscribed to both channels if that's the case. If you're on the shorts tab, there's a chance you'll see one twice because I'm going to test it out, because I really think that if I put some of the random ones that got like 2,000 views on the combo class channel, because the shorts algorithm treats it different than the normal video algorithm on this channel instead, YouTube would send it to like 1 million people. Because the most random short I put on this channel recently, it's 4 million views. The last 6 I put on the combo class channel, barely any, because they don't like trust that channel in the short algorithm yet, only in the long videos yet. And I'm not going to play the shorts game on 2 channels. They're kind of a side thing. I'll play the horizontal videos game, which I love making on both channels. But the shorts are just going to maybe go on this channel. And I'm going to test out if I put 1 or 2 of the ones that are on the combo class channel on this channel instead, and they get like 50 times more views, which I think is highly likely, then I'm going to move them over here. And then there could be, for people who are subscribed to both channels and have go on the shorts tab, you might see up to 6 of them twice if I move the 6 I put over. But the main combo class channel is still my main goal, because that's where my best episodes go, and I'm an old school YouTube fan. I don't watch shorts. So really, people, I think, sometimes make their best content when they make what they would want to see, when they make a piece of art that they can actually appreciate, because then they have like, how else do you know if someone's going to like your art apart from you being an example of a human that likes a thing? And you're like, I hope they also have the traits I have, so they like it also. And so I like making the long videos. I feel proud by it from those. I'm going to guarantee that for at least the next few years, every week or 2, there's going to be a really cool combo class horizontal video. Whatever goes on this channel is going to vary. Some weeks we'll have more or less shorts. So because they're a little bit more of a side thing that is a little kind of like the live streams are here, I might move them all to this channel if my experiment proves that they get like 50 times more likes just by putting them on the channel that the shorts algorithm likes more. So okay, somebody asked how was my day, and let's see. And whoever said keep the horizontal content coming, don't worry. That's the one that like guaranteed will keep coming. That, like I said, my main goal in life is like tied between putting out the books that are half written that I've written and making all of the ideas that I want to make horizontal videos about. Normally in the past you wouldn't have to clarify horizontal video. You'd say video. Humans' eyes go this way. So you'd assume if the human's eyes are watching something, it should go this way. So in the past, you wouldn't even have to clarify horizontal if I said I'm going to keep making videos. But trust me, that's what is like real videos to me. I don't even see a short as a real video almost. I'm sorry. I know they're cool. I like making them because it's just like fun. A fun challenge to pack an idea into a single minute, and kind of just a surreal challenge to have me and Carlo film it this way instead of this way for a minute. And that the shorts draw so many more people. It's a different generation, and a lot of the shorts audience are younger, not always, sometimes. And this doesn't refer to whoever's here. Whoever's here is obviously, even if you came from a short, you're watching the horizontal thing now. But I mean, the people who only watch shorts, they have way dumber comments. If you look at the comments on my main combo class episodes, if I get a criticism, I really listen to it because they're smart. It's like the comments are intelligent, and if there's a criticism, it's probably a smart criticism. So I listen to it. I don't always follow it, but I at least like think about to what degree I want to follow it, you know? And so sometimes if a video blows up on there, it goes to a way wider, more random audience, and then you get slightly weirder, ruder comments. Not even ruder. I don't mind if they criticize, like they think I'm nerdy or dumb or something like that. But the one comment I hate to get is when somebody says I'm wrong about a mathematical thing that I wasn't wrong about. That really, really, I can't help it. I don't want any comment to get under my skin. I don't want to have any comment bother me. And I'm really good at not caring if people roast my appearance, my delivery of speech, or any of that. But if somebody's wrong about, I'm just like so worried they're spreading misconceptions that make me look bad in a way that misleads others. And so the worst thing I hate is when I make a short, and this is almost never happens on the horizontal videos. It happens in a high percentage of short comments that somebody says like, no, that's wrong because of so-and-so. And what they're saying is something they learned from like their 7th grade algebra teacher that they think contradicts what I'm saying, when really it is both true. And math is a big enough thing that if I describe my short in a minute, I'm not going to use every popular buzzword you're looking for. And people will be like, no, it's not that. It's popular buzzword I know. And it's like, no, I just like didn't have time to mention that part of it in a minute. That doesn't disprove what I'm saying. There's very ignorant comments on the shorts as far as if I make a video about like, there's an infinite series of fractions that approaches infinity. It's like 1/3 of the comments, normal, smart. 1/3 of the comments say an infinite amount of things, of fractions, can't approach more than 1. Because they're used to the idea of like 1/2 plus 1/4 plus 1/8 plus 1/16 approaches 1. And so like 1/3 of the comments almost, or like maybe not that much, but like 10% of the comments will be like on an infinite series short. Every infinite series adds to 1 at the most. That's impossible. And then another 10%, or like 1/3 in my expanded guess, is like, of course, no, it's going to add to infinity. If you add infinite things, of course it always adds to infinity. And neither of them are right about the general case of infinite series, because infinite series could do either of those or other things. And they like remember one infinite series they learned once that they think thus contradicts a different infinite series I'm mentioning. And it's like both sides of the misconception. Like it can't even reach 1. It must be infinity. Like if I say an infinite series equals like 2 or something, like the reciprocals of the triangular numbers add up to 2, then people are like, nope, it's 1. Or like, nope, it's infinity. So it's just so weird. That's another reason that sort of like validifies my belief that horizontal videos are more of my goal, is that people who watch the shorts and comment on them aren't thinking. They want to leave the comment in like 2 seconds so that they can watch the next short. They're like, okay, I saw the thing. I have a criticism to leave, but if I spend a minute thinking about this criticism, how to type it out, I'm not going to be able to watch my next short instantaneously. So I better just write like, wrong, proven wrong, dumb wrong. And then I can go to my next short instantaneously to trigger my, short attention span. But it's just so weird. The degree to which I swear it's inflated to like on a regular video, if there's 100 comments, I expect 95 of them are pretty intelligent and thought through. On a short, if there's 100 comments, I expect about half of them are well thought out or thought through in any degree. So it's such a different ratio. Now, to note to anyone here that's not dissing any of you, because if you're even watching this, that obviously proves that you have a long enough attention span to watch more than just shorts. Shorts are fun though. They can be cool. They can hook people. I like making them as a challenge. Someday I have something that doesn't fit in an episode and I'm like, let's make a short about it. So there will be shorts, but I might just put them all on this channel. And the horizontal content will go on both channels. On my combo class channel for my extra edited, great little works of art, in my opinion. And on this channel for my more random video lectures and commentary things and bonus math lessons and such. Now, but I don't really, to somebody who noted it consumes a lot of time and energy to read those, I don't even read the shorts comments anymore after the first 100. Actually, when I make a main combo class video, I read pretty much every comment that goes on the combo class, except for if a video really blows up, then I only read about the first. Okay, I probably read about this. I probably read about the first 100 comments on each video, a little more skewed to like a main combo class video. I might read all the way, even if it gets to 200 or 300 comments, I'll probably read them all. On a short, maybe I'll only read 40 or 50 of them. But on a short nowadays, I read the first about 100 comments and then stop reading the comments because it's just like random ridiculous things. On my last short, it's like they get 4 million views on there. I'm like, here's a little trick to multiply 2-digit numbers by 11, by the way. And all the comments range from either, this is the most brilliant trick of all time, this is so cool, which is further than I wanted the mood to be, or being math tricks that say a shortcut are evil because they're promoting people not doing deep thinking about the math and actually understanding the pattern. And I'm like, bro, you just actually look at the channel and I'll say, yeah, I love making long content that explains as long as we can go into a topic. What am I supposed to do in a short? It literally has a 1-minute cutoff. On YouTube, you cannot make a short over a minute and have it go on that algorithm page. It literally has to be under a minute to go on that page. So it's yeah, some of the shorts are going to be here's a funny little trick with numbers. And then the comments completely, almost no comment is in the middle, oh, hey, cool little neat trick I picked up. There are the ones like that too, but everyone's either coolest trick of all time, you have proven math is great. And I'm this is my worst content ever, just the simplest fact ever. And the other half, how dare you teach a shortcut? You're not promoting deep math thinking. And I'm well, maybe if you get off the shorts page and look at longer videos, you'll see that I like to do that when I don't have a 1-minute cutoff. So they're funny. I don't know. I try not to be bothered by it, but I'm a human. So, it's a little more healthy for me to just not read that many of the shorts comments after the first 100. The first 100 are good, double check. Make sure I didn't do anything weird I missed in the episode or accidentally write a typo or something. So the first 100 comments are a good little double check of everything. And then if you want to have me read your comment, put it on a horizontal video, not a short. It's the shorts, I don't read them all anymore. It's healthier that way. But to people who leave comments on the main combo class episodes, you're so nice and cool. And on the streams, it really means a lot to me. I'm motivated enough that I'm going to make videos no matter what. But the really nice comments I get on my actual projects, my horizontal combo class videos and stuff like that, really probably speed up the amount of videos you get because they probably keep me happier and more motivated doing it. So as much as I'd like to say, well, I don't care about comments at all, I'm pretty good at knocking off the negative ones, but the positive ones actually really help. They really make the project have some mental motivation as well. So I'm always shocked at how some of my videos, I've said this before, and one day I'm going to curse that one day someone's going to be watching the stream who's just like an asshole who uses this as an opportunity to try and undo the fact I'm about to say. Go ahead. I don't care. I know it's not going to be true forever. But at the moment, it's still true. Even though I've said this at times in the past and like brought attention to it, that I guess I haven't said which ones. There are videos on both my channels that have a 100% like ratio. You can only actually see the genuine dislikes from creator end. Even the attachments on browsers that show you is just a guess. So even though maybe a bunch of my videos might register for you as 100%, your guess might say nobody dislikes it, or it might say like 2% dislike it or something. But the browser is just a guess, the extension. The only people who can actually see dislikes these days are the creators. And I can see on my end that some of our videos have 100% likes. And I love all of you for liking that. It's so cool. And as much as I want to be like, the cool, like, I don't care about any comment, I do whatever I do. That's mostly true. And I will, no matter, even if I got 0 comments or the worst comments in the world, I would still be making videos. But like I said, it probably speeds it up to get the nice comments because it helps motivate and stuff. And that's how I know we're doing something right. And we're going to do even more right because we're growing and expanding to really fun and cool things. Now, this month's going to be similar to last month, more streams, more combo class number theory and stuff. But I also have some cool experiments up my sleeve that I think we got some cool experiments coming over time. One thing we might do, I don't know who's around to listen to this right now. Sneak preview spoiler alert that may come someday. I don't have any tattoos. In some ways, I think tattoos are cool, and in other ways, I think they're silly. I think most people would agree with both of those, that in some ways they can be cool, and in some ways they can be silly. But if I got a tattoo, at least for the first one I got, I've always wanted to give it to myself on camera. Not because I think I'll do a good job, because I had in my head that it would be the most hilarious lecture to explain tattooing while trying to give myself one. And yes, it will look really sloppy. And it would probably be a tattoo that told a story more than it told a work of art, where maybe to look at it, it would be better knowing the context of seeing the video of me attempting to make it. But I've asked around and I have access to some tattoo guns, and so I might do that. That's your little sneak preview spoiler that a non-math episode that could come up on the Combo Class channel this grade or early next grade could be a tattoo tutorial. Not tutorial to mean copy of any sort. An explanation about the history and math and science of tattoos while we give me one. Well, I give myself one for the first time. I don't even know if I'll be able to get through it. It might hurt. I'm sure they hurt a bit. I'm sure it's hard to do it to yourself. So, we'll see. But I have access to tattoo guns. So, Now, if anybody has a comment for my go-to of if I can't figure out anything else to tattoo on myself, it might just have to be 1 + 2 + 3 = 1 × 2 × 3, or possibly that in a geometric form, possibly like a 2x3 arrangement of dots, equal sign, a 1 + 2 + 3 triangular number amount of dots, sort of showing 1 2x3 equals 1 + 2 + 3. So I may make some sort of equation involving dots that involves 3, or 3-even all-star, is, triangular and factorial. But if anybody has any other things that you think would be cool to see me try and tattoo on myself, and you let me know in a comment, I'll consider it. Now, let me go back to looking at some of our chat. So I'm going to look back at our chat for a moment, and then I'm going to log off relatively soon. So now is about your time to leave your last thoughts and comments. And somebody says, in any case, they're here to learn, and the main point is to make people like math and think mathematically. That is one of the main points. But I do want to remind people that I don't want you to necessarily think of me as a math channel. I want you to think about me as a learning about life and the world and reality channel, and that I think math and numbers are important, and that those will show up as a very core focus of many episodes. But I don't necessarily want you to think of me as a math channel, otherwise you'll be disappointed when we learn about other stuff. There's a lot of stuff to learn about. If people think about me as a math channel purely, and then I do an episode about like a cool scientific reaction, then people aren't going to click it as much because they're like, oh, the math channel is trying a science thing instead. So I don't want you to think about me as a math channel. I happen to have done a lot of math, partially even just because it's easier to present with zero budget on whiteboards, all on my own. But partially because I think math's important and numbers are core to the universe. And that it's like almost my religion is whatever is going on within the primes and the triangular numbers and stuff. And so I hope people can think of this just as the Combo Class channel, as an educational channel that will lean heavily toward math, and as this channel as an even looser version of that, as a channel that will lean toward many of my interests that will include math and nature and science and philosophy and animals and plants and, well, those are in the nature, but all that stuff. Now, thank you all. Somebody said I look like I'm from like an older century. Yeah, I don't mind that. One of my favorite people I think somebody compared me to. I get compared to all sorts of people. Sometimes it's just the appearance. Sometimes it's like, okay, you look like Jack Harlow or whatever. Sometimes it's the voice or whatever. Like, someone said I sounded like Bam Margera a few times. I didn't mind that because he's cool. I like Jackass. But people say I sound like all sorts of random stuff. Everyone thinks I sound like the guy from Vsauce 2. And not everyone even gets the reference right. They say I sound like Vsauce, but they don't mean I sound like Michael Stevens. They mean I sound like Kevin from Vsauce 2. Because he's the one who happens to have a closer cadence to me. Even though Kevin from Vsauce 2 is cool. I like that channel, but it's... nobody, including him, he's in the category of all the other YouTubers in that they're not as good as the normal Vsauce. So nothing against Vsauce 2. He's great. I watch his videos and stuff, but the first Vsauce is the king of YouTube. Maybe the greatest channel ever. Now, I don't watch shorts, so he's been doing a lot of shorts, and I haven't even kept up with those at all. I'm waiting for him to make another long video, because he always makes brilliant ones of those. Somebody asked if I know Willen's formula. Yeah, that's a way to calculate primes. We may go into that in an episode. Willen's formula is a way to... it's related to one I made a formula... I didn't make a formula. I made an episode about a formula once that the formula is called... Wilson's theorem, which is different than Willen's formula. And the Wilson's theorem is similar to that in that it relates to factorials and primes in a way that it can compute what a prime is, but it's so inefficient to try and get like, what's the 50th prime? And so to get like the 50th prime, it's computationally too complex, but it's cool that there is a formula, because then we can try and tighten that and work with it and see what it means. And so similar to that, there's one called Willen's formula, combines all this stuff to like pick out, here's my 5th prime and stuff. We will go into that one at some point, I'm sure, because I'm a big fan of primes. I think that, as I've said, if you think multiplication's important, and you think that which things are building blocks of other things is important,
then you have to think that primes are important, because then they're the building blocks multiplicatively of the whole numbers. So we'll go into that at some point because I like primes. Now, lot of fun, cool comments going on around here. Somebody asked, how was my day many times? I will answer it because it's a nice question, but I would like to remind people that if you ask something like 15 times, me or one of the moderators might have to remove it, or if there's ever enough comments that you're like interrupting people by asking stuff a bunch, remember that I will scroll back through the comments at some point, and that I'm not always more likely to answer it if you put it a bunch of times. Might even make it less likely I answer sometimes if it's a bunch of times. In this case, since it's a nice enough question and not too bothersome, I'm going to answer how was my day, which was pretty good. It was a little busy. I was really tired, so I don't usually sleep in, but I was up very late last night for some 4th of July, which is a silly holiday, but some great fun with my friends. I love my friends. And so last night was one of the times I probably went to bed at 4 or 5 a.m. And so I got up at like 11 a.m. or something, which is later than I usually get up. I usually get up quite early. So today my day started a little later, and a good day overall. What I'm going to work on after this, apart from finishing these stone fruits, is getting a little further on that edit of the combo class one I've also been working on. Now, thank you to everyone for the comments. Don't think I can answer all of the things here, but I will be back for more streaming before long. To anybody who has any other questions or things they're curious about any of the things I mentioned, or any questions you would like me to include in any interview-like segments with any of my friends who I mentioned earlier, who I may include in any streams later, or if I include my family in a stream for a feature, what's a question you'd be curious about me asking, say, my parents or younger brother. And also, just leave any comment that you want of a random thing after this processes as a video if you want to be helpful. Because even though like the stream chat is really fun for while I'm doing it, the streams never promote that far to get that many new viewers or anything. And so it helps more if a few of you sometimes leave a random comment on the video itself after, like, as soon as I quit the stream. If you like reload the page a few minutes later, then there's the SD version of it. You have to wait like half a day for it to be HD ready for that, and to include the chat. The chat's gone for like half a day while they process it. I can't control that. It's YouTube. But if you leave a comment after like refreshing it after I quit the stream, even any random comment. In this case, if you need a cue, your random comment can be what would be 3 cool stone fruits you'd like to see on the same tree. And or just whatever you want. That helps more, probably, if you ever want to help. You know, if you want to help more too, keep an eye out for the membership thing I'll be dropping sometime this month. And there is a Patreon. Like I said, I did put another bonus old video linked. It's an unlisted YouTube video I cannot share with all of you yet. I'm actually worried if I make it public that YouTube will get mad at my channels. It's like kind of dangerous. I do dangerous stuff in it. So sorry, YouTube. I write really big in the description. I'm like, do not copy, do not copy. But there's a very dangerous version of a haircutting tutorial that I put up for my Patreon people. So if anyone wants to see that, you can try and support there. But I will incorporate that into an episode someday later. I'm going to need another real haircut. Maybe I'll incorporate it into my next haircut, because I cut this myself in the grade -1 finale, and I never ended up getting it fixed. This is still just the haircut I gave myself in the grade -1 finale. So Good thing I don't care too much about how people judge my looks. Now, I love you all. Hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you to everyone who listened to this slightly ranty, more random stream. And stay tuned for more like full-on episodes. Although my streams, I like to go on a variety of random tangents. My favorite thing for people to watch are the combo class channel episodes that come out every 1 to 2 weeks on like a specific subject. So, and, you know, a solid, more edited, extra fun, extra learny experience. So I'll catch you guys in that one in tomorrow or possibly the next day. And I love you all. I will see you in another video and or stream.